Henrik. We're so glad to have you in the Leading Complexity program again.
Thank you.
You're a colleague at CRISP and an entrepreneur and have many initiatives. And lately you have fully started to immerse yourself in generative AI. You're holding a lot of courses and have many popular videos. The generative AI in a nutshell have reached over 2 million views already, I see.
Yeah, I basically jumped into the deep end of the pool when it comes to AI.
Yes. So how do you see that generative AI will affect leadership and maybe leadership decision making in particular?
I think it's going to affect it radically, but it's hard to say exactly how. I think it's similar to when the internet came. It kind of changed everything, but at the time, no one knew exactly how. Just that we need to understand what this thing is. So I think we're in a similar kind of situation.
Yes. When I've been teaching for years, I've been saying that everything that is kind of repetitive, we can automate with programming and code, etc. And we should use the human capabilities for complex things and use
Exactly.
collaboration, perspectives, things like this. But is that true now that we have generative AI? Will that kind of replace or will it enhance human collaboration?
I think that's a really good angle. I think of it kind of like a spectrum from fully automatable with code to fully human. And in the past, it's really been like if you can't describe it exactly, then it can't be automated. So, but now that scale has moved a little bit. So lots of work that previously could not be automated because it required some intelligence and some creativity can now be automated. But of course, not everything. So it's something. I think it's just that a lot more stuff can be automated than before, but obviously not everything.
So you can mute as a scale. What are
Yeah.
some of the biggest challenges organizations facing when they want to introduce generative AI into their operations?
I think one big challenge is that this technology is so new and so strange. We've never had anything like it in the past, so it's hard to make a strategy around it. So we typically want to jump to like finding the value immediately for something.
Hmm.
But here, I think you need some humility to realize that we just need to give people a lot of time and resources to experiment with the technology before you're going to find the kind of golden use cases.
Yeah. Have you thought of some kind of implications of introducing generative AI that is not really thought of yet?
Yeah, I think the kind of subtle thing that you realize after a while is that generative AI makes things less predictable but more intelligent, and
Ah,
that's a trade-off. When you write code, code is stupid. It doesn't think for itself. It does exactly what you said. When you talk to a generative AI model, there's something similar to thinking or creativity going on, which means they can do a lot cooler and more interesting things. But by definition, just like a human, we are fundamentally kind of unpredictable because
hmm.
we think. So that's a bit of a trade-off that you need to kind of navigate.
So more unpredictable, but more kind of intelligent.
Kind of, but then there's the nice tricks you can do, like using large language models to generate code, because then the generation itself is unpredictable. But once you have the code, you can look at it,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
executing the code is predictable. So there's all kinds of tricks you can use to kind of get the both best of both worlds.
So now that you've kind of immersed yourself in generative AI, what have surprised you the most during this research?
I think what surprised me the most is just the whole thing. I never imagined that a computer could be creative or write code or help like plan a strategy workshop or all these kind of things that I really didn't think computers could do. So I get surprised pretty much every day.
Uh,
But maybe the biggest thing is just what an incredible productivity increase you can see when you really start understanding how to use the technology. And that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, you mentioned a bit of that. How much have you seen for yourself when you've been coding or creating stuff?
Well, it's hard to measure exactly, but if I were to estimate, especially when it comes to coding, then it's around 10 times more productive, at least I would say, because typically it's something that would take days would now take hours, and
Oh,
things that would take hours would now take minutes. So it's really quite remarkable, but only if you really use the best tools out there and really learn prompt engineering.
yeah. So basically, any team should have an AI on their team.
Yeah, I think teams that don't do that will basically not be, nobody's going to want to pay for them. It
Oh,
would be similar. It would be similar to having a team that refuses to use the internet. It's like, sure, but no one's going to pay because you're just too ineffective.
Yeah, or a typewriter instead of a computer.
Yeah, like it would look kind of cool, but I'm not sure someone wouldn't want to pay for that.
Okay, so your session in the program is called AI Transformation Guide. What do you hope the participants will get out of your session?
I hope they will maybe be a little bit less worried about the whole thing and have a little more concrete roadmap of what they can do to start applying this technology.
Ah, interesting. So is for like individual, team, or organization?
This one is more aimed, I think, is more aimed at leaders. It's like if you want to lead or drive a transition, because this is a pretty big change that companies are going to need to go through.
Ah,
So how do you make that happen in practice? So I'm going to offer some concrete tips and guidelines around that, kind of beyond the hype, just looking into the pragmatic, like, okay, here's an amazing new technology, but we need a lot of exploration. So how do you make that happen in practice?
fantastic. So we are so much looking forward to your session on 21st of November in the Leading Complexity program.
Cool. All right. See you there, I guess.
See you there. Thanks. Bye.